What inspired me was Frankenstein. That's on my dark days. I'm Dr. Frankenstein. On my happy days, when the Zoloft works, I'm the Wizard of Oz. So, but we all know Frankenstein is basically the story of you know, a guy that tries playing God and gets what's coming to him. But to me, it's also kind of a cautionary tale about the creative process, that you can become obsessed with something that's, you know, in essence abstract, especially music, because, you know, what is it? It's all just a bunch of, you know, sounds that are organized in a way that somehow we find it pleasing, and yet it can become an obsession. And with me, I've done 2 solo albums. The first one I just did under my name, and the second one I wanted to make it sound more like a band. And the second one came around after the whole advent of computer technology and multi-tracking coming into people's homes and being affordable to, you know, the average guy like me. People have understandably become a little jaded, so when you say that, well, yeah, I've created this solo album of music, they go, oh, how nice for you. You have a little computer at home, and you push some buttons, and you have some loops, and you have some sounds and some samples, and I don't want people to make that assumption because it wasn't true. I played like 7 or 8 different instruments on this album. And so I created a band. It's a completely imaginary band called Sons of Telstar, because I was around when Telstar was launched. It was the very first communications satellite. And it was a huge deal that these grainy black and white pictures could be transmitted, I think, 2 45-minute intervals a day. And now it's like, you know, we all have cell phones and they're all like talking to satellites up in space now. It's no big deal. So I wanted it to be kind of a throwback to those early days when, you know, communication on that level was a huge deal. And it also helped me to think of, because we have a lot of artists in the audience, and I'm sure I'll get head nods when I say you reach that point of critical mass when you work on a creative project where it begins to take on a life of its own. It's not like you're just pulling something out of a hat and saying, you know, well, yeah, I'm kind of working on this project. It's that you go and you work on it, and it's taken on a life of its own, and you're just like, you know, you're just participating in the process. It's you and that project you're working on, rather than you trying to just, you know, pull something out of a hat. I don't know, does that make sense? Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad. Yeah. So, you know, in a way, we're all kind of, you know, we're all Dr. Frankensteins, and, you know, probably a much more benevolent way than, you know, yeah, I mean, you know, some of us may have subversive, who knows, you know. Let me make sure that, well, just to talk about the process, there's about 20 tracks on this piece that I'm going to play. This is the first time I've performed anything live from any of these 2 albums, because it's kind of difficult to pull off, because there are 20 tracks on this, and so which one do I pick out that makes it kind of interesting? And so this piece was one that I was inspired by a trip to San Francisco. I have a very low tolerance for caffeine, and I went to a little mom and pop place in the Mission District in San Francisco and got this huge cup of coffee and was walking around and just got so high on caffeine that I had to be sat down and talked down like off of a bad acid trip, because I got really paranoid. So this piece is called Caffeine Panic. What I've done, I did a special, it's a cold open, which means the song just kind of starts. So I added a count off, and I also removed the bass track from this so I could play the bass live. So hopefully I'll push this button and everything will come out a cohesive whole. So thank you for your indulgence. Here we go.